What's up, guys? This is Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 10 after 7 p.m. Sunday evening, June the 30th, 2024, year of our Lord. Boys, I skipped out on church this morning and I paid for it. I worked my ace off today. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I worked hard today, very hard. I woke up this morning at dawn and came out here, blew all the dew off of the lawn, broke the turf master out, mowed it down to 1.5 inches, put the mower up, jumped in the truck with the trailer, ran to Home Depot, rented an aerator, came back home, aerated my lawn 3 times. I didn't do my backyard, and if you're looking at my house, I didn't do the right side of my driveway. I actually aerated the right side of my driveway with my little handheld aerator at the very beginning of June because I had some stuff buried, had a wire buried, and I figured I'd go ahead and aerate it to make everything cover up, and it's covered up pretty good. It's filled in nicely, but so I didn't touch that side of the driveway, and I didn't aerate my backyard. There's really no point in aerating my backyard, man, because my boys, they're back there any given time of the day, probably 4 or 5 hours a day in the summertime, shooting BB guns, playing basketball, kicking a soccer ball around, you name it, being boys. So there's no point in aerating my backyard. But I aerated my front yard, the main part of my front yard, 3 times. And I highly suggest, if you're going to rent an aerator, go to an equipment dealership and see if they rent aerators out before you go to a big box store. And I tell you that because your big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, things like that, they don't have mechanics on site to maintain equipment. You know, they do the basic stuff like changing oil and things like that, but they don't, if there's some sort of engine trouble, mechanical issues, these are Home Depot and Lowe's employees, man. They don't know what they're doing. They're not mechanics, They're just there to make a paycheck, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't fool with it neither. But if you go somewhere that's a dealership, likely they have mechanics on site that maintains all of their equipment that they rent out. And I paid for it dearly this morning. I actually meant to go by Harry's. Huh? I have no clue, but I'm making a video, so don't bother me. But I meant to go by Harry's yesterday morning, my local dealership's where I buy all of my lawn equipment from, and rent a Billy Goat stand-on aerator. But I'm assuming they have stand-on aerators for rent. I don't know. I know they have regular aerators for rent, but I really wanted to get it done quick, very quick, because of the heat, man. But it is what it is. So I went to Depot this morning and I rented a Ryan aerator. It's a 20-inch aerator, and it's a good aerator, don't get me wrong. But bottom line is that it was worn out. It runs at probably half of the power that it's supposed to run. And I'm going to say probably probably a third of the times didn't rotate. And that particular aerator has a drum that you fill with water on the front, and that drum rotates, and the outside of it is rubber, and that's what pulls it along. Well, that drum is slick as a mayonnaise sandwich, it's so wore out, so it wasn't pulling anything along. So I'm actually using an aerator that's about, if I had to guess, I'd say probably about 13 or 14 inches wide to do my lawn. And so I had to overlap everything, and I had to push down on the handle like I was using a tiller to till up my entire front yard. And it didn't have enough power to go up my hill. I had to go down. When I was going vertical with my driveway, or parallel with my driveway, I had to go down the hill and then disengage or lift the tines up and then come back up my driveway, get back on the turf and go back down my driveway, because it just, that rubber drum just does not pull it across grass. And now I'm sure when it's new, if it had a new drum on there, it probably would. But and that's with me filling the drum up with water. So, but regardless, the aerator did what I needed it to do. It took about an hour and a half longer than what it should have took me to aerate my lawn 3 times. It shouldn't have took no more than about an hour. It really shouldn't have. But got it done, and then I loaded it back up on the trailer, took it back to Home Depot. Rented a power rake, dethatched my lawn. I don't have a whole lot of thatch in my lawn to begin with, but I figured since I'm scratching my lawn up, I might as well go ahead and dethatch it too, because you're supposed to do that every 2 or 3 years anyway, and it's never been done in my lawn as far as I know, at least not since I've been here. The only dethatching that's ever been done is when I drug a rake across it. That's it. And that's not much of any kind of dethatching. So went back, rented a dethatcher, got it done, and it worked a lot better. It worked a whole lot better. It was a Clausen dethatcher, and it did the trick. It took me about 25-30 minutes to dethatch my lawn. Well, loaded it back up on the trailer, took it back to Home Depot, and they actually gave me $50 off, $25 a piece for both, because I brought it back well within the 4 hours that I leased it for. To lease it for 4 hours, it was $76. So for the aerator, it was $70 after taxes, and then for the dethatcher, it was $70 after taxes. They took $25 off of each, so it was actually $51 for each unit plus tax, and with tax it was $70 a piece for so I spent $140 to aerate, dethatch my lawn today. And all in all, I spent about 3 hours worth of work doing that. But then when I got home, I dethatched everything with all the plugs on the ground still, and when I got back home from bringing that dethatcher back, that power rake, I busted out a metal rake, or a wire rake, whatever you want to call it. It's just a stainless steel metal leaf rake, and I call it a wire rake. But I drug that across the yard to get all the plugs up. I pulled up as many as I could. This is the first time my lawn's been dethatched in, I know, 7 years. And I'm sure it's probably never been dethatched as long as since this house has been built in 2006. So I went ahead and raked up as many plugs as I could with that rake, and I probably got 3/4 of the plugs up, and just threw them in a trash can. And then I turned my sprinklers on for 10 minutes per zone, and let everything, because there was some plugs left. Then I went ahead and let those plugs kind of do a little bit of dissolving. There's still, even after watering it, there was still a little bit of plugs left. Not much, but there was a lot. There was a little bit left. And the first time you aerate a yard, you need to get the plugs up. After that, it's fine. You can leave them out there if you want. But the first time, you need to get them up, man, because you're really trying to break up the compaction in your yard. So I did that. Got them up, threw them in the trash. Ran my irrigation system for 10 minutes per zone. That way it could kind of dissolve the plugs a little bit more. And then I had all that done by 1 o'clock. I set an alarm on my phone for 4. I came inside, took a nap on the couch, woke up 4 o'clock, came back outside, and I mowed my lawn twice. So I mowed my lawn 3 times a day, aerated my lawn 3 times a day, and dethatched my lawn 3 times a day, and raked my lawn today. And it doesn't look bad, but I will say this: when you aerate or dethatch your lawn, you need to mark your sprinkler heads. That's a given. I did that, and I got as close to my sprinkler heads as I could without risking it. And I think what happened is some sand got down in one of my sprinkler heads, and it didn't go down all the way. It was sticking up probably an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch, and there was water coming out, and I didn't realize it. After when I turned my sprinklers on, after I aerated, well, it flooded that area, and I didn't know it. So when I came back and mowed my grass, I muddied up my grass. But it's all good, man. I mow my lawn 3 times a week, or every 3 days. 3 days you won't even be able to see the mud marks. But there are some spots in my lawn that do hold a little bit of water. Not much, but a little bit. And you're talking about a machine that weighs probably 400 or 500 pounds. And running an aerator across it, man, it took a toll. So I'm going to have to put some sand out. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that this year. If I don't, I'll definitely do it next year. But that aerator showed every imperfection in my lawn. And but the bottom line is, it's done. I have relieved the compaction in my lawn. Oxygen is getting down to the roots now, and the creeping effect will start to take place. And truth be told, my lawn will be a lot greener. And another thing is too, I don't like this part. When your lawn goes dormant, you're going to have green spots in your lawn where you aerated. Everywhere there's a core pulled out of the ground, that lawn is going to be green just a little bit longer when it starts to go dormant. And that spot I don't like, man, or that part I don't like about aerating. But it is what it is, man. You gotta trade a little bit of good for bad whenever you're doing work in your yard. But I'm gonna show you around. I'm gonna get y'all turned around real quick and show y'all the end result. Give me just a second. But over there at the driveway, and then all out through here, all those bare spots that used to be green, all out through there. Give me just a second, guys. I'll walk over here. All up through here and all back through there. But I didn't go up that hill back there. I'm not really worried about that, because no matter what I do, you know, when my weed and vert guy comes out, everything he sprays or spreads, it all washes down that hill, and there's always a very dark green patch for about 2 weeks right there at the base of that hill. So I'm not worried about that. It is what it is. But right there where there was some roots, and there's a stump in the ground or some roots or whatever it is, I aerated that really good. Hopefully that'll start to thicken up and green up. Right there is where that sprinkler head was sticking up about an 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, and it flooded the lawn, and it caused me to have mud marks on throughout the rest of my lawn. But then you got this area right here. This cross right here was actually in the ground right there, and for some reason that one little spot right there has always held a lot of water. And not to mention the fact my kids walk from the steps right here. Don't laugh at my rose bushes, y'all. I need to trim them back. But my kids have always walked from the steps right here, right through here, to my youngest daughter's car and my oldest daughter's car. And there's like a little cattle trail right through here. But that trail right there, that bare spot right there, and That bare spot right there is the main reason why I wanted to aerate my property, and that little spot right there where that tree stump is. But that is the main reason why I wanted to aerate my lawn so bad. I needed to relieve some compaction, because this right here was compacted so bad it wasn't even funny. I mean, this was almost as hard as a putting green right here, and my grass was only about a ½ inch tall right there, and I mow it at 1.5 inches. So, but the hard part is done, and I'm gonna say 2, maybe 3 weeks, you should start to notice a huge difference in the lawn. We're just gonna say 3 weeks to play it safe, and then here in a few minutes I'm gonna cut my water on one last time for tonight, because it's been hot as hell all day. 107 is what the heat index was, but I'm gonna cut the water on for about 10 minutes per zone one last time tonight, and then I'm gonna cut it off because it's had a lot of water today, and it's about to start raining, and I'm sure y'all can probably hear the thunder in the background, but it's about to start raining, and I'm gonna keep my system turned off until Wednesday, and with me aerating, I should be able to go back to watering my lawn 3 times a week instead of 7 days a week. So we'll see what happens, and I will keep y'all posted. But look here, man, it's Sunday evening. It's time to get back to the real world tomorrow, and I hope y'all get out there and have an amazing week. I really do. All you landscapers out there and all you homeowners, whatever you do for a living, look, man, just embrace it. Just embrace it, man. It sucks, I know, but it is what it is, man. We all got bills to pay. Well, look here, man, I'm gonna hop off here, go inside and hang out with the family for a little bit, but until the next one, y'all keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. I'll let y'all. Bye.